Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to Sharin no Kuni, Himawari no Shoujo. You know, after taking a break and thinking about what's going on right now, currently, right? I'm starting to think that I'm a bit too critical, I guess, of Toka. In a way, I don't know. Because I started thinking about my experiences in high school, right? There were a couple of friends who asked me for advice and all that about romance usually. Like, oh man, my boyfriend is doing stuff like this and I'm feeling very frustrated, blah 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 blah, right? Something like that. And then when I give them my advice, they're like, yeah, but they never act upon it. So basically, those guys are the exact opposite of Toka. And me, as the person who gives the advice to my friend, I was kind of conflicted. It was kind of frustrating when I say to do this, but they also didn't do it, right? But in a way, I guess that's the preferred thing to do in their case, instead of just doing what I told them to do, right? In Toka's case, it's just the other way around. It's kind of weird. Both have their own frustrations as someone who's just looking at the people who have these kinds of issues. Not necessarily like, not necessarily as complex as Toka's issue, but just the way it is. Like, they seek help, but the one refuses to do what you want to do, and the other one just do whatever you told them to do without thinking too much about it. So yeah, I guess that's enough rambling though. Let's continue.
Ohayo.
An awkward greeting appropriate for an awkward breakfast. Well, you could hardly call it a breakfast though. I'd preferred a simplistic meal consisting of rice with soy sauce on it. They refused to touch it. Oh, did I not put enough soy sauce on?
いいえ。ごめん。私もいらない。
Oh well, soy sauce on rice was an acquired taste after all. Then again, their lack of appetite was probably unrelated to the cuisine placed in front of them. That's like barely anything, Kenichi. I could imagine it being good with some eggs and stuff like that.
どうか。
Even like raw egg would probably be delicious. I don't think I've ever eaten raw egg. Just the dish which is called like rice on top of raw egg. But I have eaten raw egg before in Japan, and it's not that bad. It doesn't have that weird taste. Like, I guess fishy taste? I don't know what you'd call it. Kyoko-san looked straight at Toka.
何？
Toka shifted her line of sight upward, locking eyes with Kyoko-san. She was probably trying to gauge her mood.
今日の予定は？そうだね。ちょっと気分が悪いから好きなことやって過ごそうかなって。また漫画？お小遣い足りてる？足りてるよ。今までずっと使ってなかったし。そうね。今までお金の使い道を奪ってたのは私よね。あ、違う。そういう意味で言ったんじゃないよ。ええ、分かってるわよ。ただ、私がおかしかっただけ。お母さん、本当にどうしちゃったの？疲れてるの？
Kyoko-san allowed herself to slouch.
なんでもないわよ。どうかこそ疲れてない？大丈夫だよ。それより肩もみしてあげようか。
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's do it to it. I sat down and pointed my back at Toka.
いいわ。なんだか恥ずかしいし。そう？
Just then, the doorbell rang.
これって。
We had gotten a delivery. Or rather, Toka had received a gift.
どうやら コウキと幸代さんからのようね。
開けてみてもいい？
ダメとは言えないでしょ。
Yoko-san watched as Toka slowly unwrapped the package, her arms crossed. There was a small heart-shaped box inside, sealed with a pink ribbon. Oh, maybe they send you some sweets. Toka carefully undid the ribbon and lifted the top off of the box.
わ
It contained an assortment of cakes.
ー、手作りかな？
I took a look at the box. There was no brand name on it.
食べられるのかしら。
Huh?
だって都会からこんな田舎まで日にちが経っているっていうのに、それに今は真夏でしょ。
Makes sense?
大丈夫だよ。バターケーキだし、ジャムとか塗ってないみたいだし。
Yeah, look. They even went to the trouble of wrapping them all in vinyl individually. Looks like they used some antioxidant too.
そうね。ごめんなさい。
Well, more importantly, there's a card in there too, you know?
あ、
Toka took the card.
なんて？
読み上げるね。10日へ、今まで本当にごめんなさい。このケーキはお父さんが焼いたものです。よかったら、京子さんと食べてください。
Kyoko-san looked severely irritated for just a second. Kyoko-san?
何？
Nothing.
じゃあ、みんなで食べようよ。
Sounds like a damn fine idea to me.
私は遠慮しておくわ。
どうして？
食欲がないのよ。
Come on, don't be a party pooper. You can just eat a little bit.
二人で食べなさい。私はちょっと仕事をしています。
Work.
そうよ。そろそろ新学期も近いでしょ。
一緒に食べようよ。
忙しいのよ。またにして。
仲良くしようよ。
Kyoko-san marched off into her room holding her breath. She was actually being honest this time. God damn it, this girl. Not Toka, I mean, like Kyoko. Man, my soy sauce and rice combo must have tasted pretty shitty. And she marched right back out of it as soon as I cracked a lame joke. Oh, sup? Decided you wanted some delicious cake after all? Kyoko-san ignored me. She walked over to Toka and came to a halt.
お礼言っておきなさいね。わかるでしょ？
でも、向こうの番号わかんないよ。
電話に履歴が残ってるでしょ？
そっか。ごめん。
Kyoko-san, there's no reason to get so worked up about this.
怒ってないわよ。
The fact that she's not even admitting it is kind of worrisome. And then she returned to her room once more. Toka looked back down at the box of cakes and heaved one of her customary sighs. Noon was about to pass us by, but we still hadn't so much as touched the cakes. Toka had lain on the couch the entire time, complaining that she felt unwell. Toka, aren't you gonna call them?
うん。
She responded half-heartedly, then sat up.
もしもし、10日です。お母さん？お母さんはお母さんだから、呼び方はお母さんでいいんだよ。それより、ケーキありがとう。届いたよ。手作りなんでしょ？そうなんだ。いいね、そういうのも。
Man, I don't know. I feel like it might be just me. Am I like full of hatred or something? But if I were Toka and someone that was supposed to be my real parents aren't the one that raised me, I would feel hatred towards them instead of, you know, whatever the fuck it is she was feeling right now towards them. Calling your real mom, even though she's not the one who raised you, I don't know about that.
あ、まだ食べてないけど、とりあえずお礼言っておこうと思って。うん、京子お母さんにそう言われたの。え？お母さん？うん、元気だけど、ちょっと機嫌悪いかも。でも、いつも辛そうだから、一回家出みたいなことして、ひどく悲しませちゃったことがあって、正直、今、ちょっと悩んでる。迷うようなら、お母さんを選べってこと？
Looked like Koki and Sachio were suggesting that she just choose Kyoko-san.
もうちょっと考えてみるね。ありがとう。心配してくれて。
Ah, sorry. Do I even want to replay her her voice? No, I do not. Was your mom happy?
私をお母さんって呼んでくれるのって言ってた。
What was that about, just choosing Kyoko-san if you didn't know what to do?
いろいろ気を使ってくれてる。
But that attitude might just end up making Toka even more confused. Yeah, it's like so manipulative.
優しい人なんだよな。
And you're fucking retarded. This situation is making me just angry, you know? So you pretty much figured out what your other parents are like.
優しいよ、すっごく。
Have you ever thought that you wouldn't mind living with them? She frowned for a moment, unable to find an answer.
まだわからないけど、やっぱり会ってみたいとは思うよ。
I'll get to the point. Who do you prefer, Kyoko-san or them? I made sure to smile.
それは、そんなの比べられないよ。比べたらいけないと思う。でも、比べちゃうんだろうな。
This reminds me of there was a question back when I was in, like, middle school about who do you choose between this friend and that friend? And what, like, you know, sometimes kids are like, yeah, I can't just choose. But then there's this one guy who would just say, I like this guy more, I like this guy more, I like that guy more. To me, well, to most people back then, that attitude is actually frowned down upon, right? Because you're basically, like, categorizing which friend you think is the best. And I also felt that way back then. But now that I think about it now, I feel like that's just how it should be. Right? You actually do need to categorize your friends. You can't just say you're friends with this guy and you're the same as this friend who was friends with you like 10 years ago. You don't share the same amount of experience that they shared together, so I don't know. Well, that's a bit shallow though. Just because you know each other for 10 years doesn't mean that you're actually good friends, right? I'm talking about really close friends that have shared a lot in the past 10 years. You could have known each other for 10 years ago, but if you weren't really that close to begin with, you're probably the same as a new guy who just became friends with you. She sighed again. Why don't you just eat some of that cake for now?
そうだね。
She stole a fleeting glance at Kyoko-san's room before reaching for the cake. Her door was shut firmly. She had probably heard Toka's phone conversation from within the room. She was probably even eavesdropping, to be fair. You doing okay, Toka? You have a fever or something? I couldn't help but find Toka's actions strange. She had been wandering aimlessly throughout the house, biting her fingers, opening and closing manga in the frame of a few seconds.
ケーキ、美味しかったね。
Her tone seemed to suggest that she was seeking confirmation of this fact. Yeah, it was pretty good. I can understand why your dad works at a top-notch restaurant.
あのケーキをお父さんが焼いて、お母さんの職場の子供たちに食べさせてあげることもあるんだって。
How nice of him.
私もそういうことをしてみたいな。
Something like that?
私ね、別に料理そのものがすっごくしたいわけじゃないけど、自分が作ったもので人が喜んでくれたら楽しいだろうなって思うの。
As you are now, man, I don't think you can actually, Toka. Just speaking truthfully. You're pretty serious about this thing, aren't you? Like back at the riverbed.
お母さんが私の料理食べてくれたら喜んでくれるだろうなって、そう思うとなんだか夢中になるんだよね。
She smiled happily. But if you can't enter the kitchen, maybe you should just cook something outside and bring it in. She shook her head.
料理が冷めちゃうのがちょっと。
Well, I guess you'll just have to use the kitchen then.
うん。
But you're gonna give up if Kyoko-san tells you you can't go into it.
うん。
Toka just nodded. Her thought process had stalled to a halt. Her obligation had been cancelled for all intents and purposes. But the one thing she wanted to do most was still prohibited. This sucks, huh? I got the conversation going again.
なんかうまくいかないね。
Don't repress your desires.
我慢なんかしてないよ。
No, you are. Look, you won't even enter the kitchen just because Kyoko-san tells you not to.
そうだけど、それは我慢じゃないよ。
Then what do you call it? Being mindful of others? Sure. I must have made her mad. She crossed her arms and started glaring at me. What are you talking about? You want to cook, don't you? You want to prepare some nice hot meals for your mom, right? However, the reason you can't do any of that is because of Kyoko-san. It's what I would call repressing your desires.
違う。仕方ないことなの。
Give me a break. That's exactly what I mean. I spoke slowly, like I was explaining something to a toddler. Toka made an unpleasant expression.
いいよ。私はどうせ子供だよ。
Oh, so now you admit it. I cracked another joke, but
でも、子供はね、我慢しないんだよ。
her eyes were devoid of doubt.
だから私は我慢なんてしてないんだよ。
Whoa, that was a really messed up syllogism. Syllogism? Google, help me out here. An instance of a form of reasoning in which conclusion is drawn, whether validly or not, from two given or assumed proposition, each of which shares a term with the conclusion and shares a common or middle term, and not present in the conclusion. Okay. Example, all dogs are animals. All animals have 4 legs. Therefore, all dogs have 4 legs. Okay, that's definitely not a good way to reach a conclusion. Whoa, that was a really messed up syllogism. I found it strangely persuasive, though.
料理はしたいけど、お母さんが嫌がることはしたくないんだよ。
And I'm telling you that that's impossible. You need to choose between one or the other.
やだよ。全部うまくいく方法を考えたいよ。
Being greedy like that would lead to no result whatsoever in the end, you know? There's no such thing as a solution like that. Not in this world.
やっぱりダメかな。
Absolutely not.
いい方法ない？
Nope.
ケンイチのバカ。
She had gotten sulky on me now. Well, okay, I'll try asking Kyoko-san about it, at least.
でもお母さん、きっと嫌がるよ。
You have a point. I couldn't help but be irritated by Kyoko-san's attitude, though. Why was she going that far over something so simple? This might be a bit insensitive, but...
うん、いいよ。ひょっとして、やけどのことかな。
I nodded. It was an accident, right?
うん。私がね、お母さんの邪魔をしたのがいけなかったの。
In her way.
よく覚えてないけど、ケーキ作ってたお母さんの周りをうろちょろしてたら、いつの間にか私がやけどしてて、お母さんが私を心配そうに見てて、でも私はおろおろしてて。
Could you try to put that together a bit more coherently before speaking?
だから よく覚えてないんだって。
She shouted so loudly that her body shook.
とにかく私が
What's wrong? Sweat was dripping down her face.
私が全部悪かったんだよ。お母さんは私を心配してくれてたのに、私なんかどうしようってその場にうずくまってただけで。
Is that what happened, or is that what you believe happened? Hey, are you feeling alright?
平気。お腹が痛いだけだから。
Well, they do say the mind affects the body. Huh? Yeah. Cramps then.
ごめん、ちょっと。
She covered her mouth with both hands and ran for the bathroom. Are you okay in there?
来ないで。
Yeah. She wouldn't let me in. I just stood outside and waited for Toka to recover. Man, stop with the sad music, damn it. Feeling better? Sad music is also pissing me
もう
off.
全然平気。
This whole situation is just pissing me off. She was still a little pale, but she was smiling, so she was probably alright. She took a deep breath. You've got a lot on your mind, don't
ご
you?
めんね。早く決めないとケンイチにも迷惑かけちゃうのに。
Don't worry about it. Well, considering her personality, telling her that would probably just make her worry about it more. Then why did you say it? Pete's sake, Kenichi.
本当にごめんね。でも私ってこういうの苦手で。
Deciding things.
クラスでは委員長なんてやってるけど、みんなをまとめてるような感覚ないし。
Kyoko-san had forced her to assume the position, so I guess that was a given.
一体どっちのお母さんを選べばいいのかな。
There's no correct answer to that. I guess that had been pretty blunt. Toka frowned again.
はあ、なんで私が決めなきゃいけないのかな。これってお母さんと向こうのお父さんの問題でしょ。だったらそっちで決めてほしいよ。だってなんだかずるいよ。いや、誰も悪くないことで仕方のないことなんだけど、でもなんで？
I can't say I understand how you feel, or do I like how the fact that you're trying to victimize yourself. She was clearly dissatisfied with things on a very basic level.
なんで私が？
She was trying to run away.
誰かに代わってほしいよ。ねえ、できることならね。
She forced herself to smile despite how exhausted she was. Toka, I wouldn't disagree with classifying you as the victim in this scenario, but...
やだな。冗談だよ。わかってるって。私が決めなきゃいけないことなんだよね。ケンイチに決めてもらおうとか、頼ろうとか、そんな勝手なこと考えてないよ。
She was probably just telling me what she thought I wanted to hear. Toka, I need to apologize to you about something. Old man Hozuki gave me a certain order when I first came to this town. He told me to get along with the rehabilitees, and that's why I decided that I should get in with the class chairman. You were just a kid, so I figured I could win you over with just a smile. And I was pretty much right.
なんなのそれ。
I have two things I want to say. First, please don't trust me. Well, I guess you can trust me if you want, but please don't expect anything from me. And please don't try to rely upon me. Also, people who don't think for themselves will be used by those who do. And the people who are being used do not realize it.
ケンイチ。
I can make you decide if you want me to, you know. Remember when Pops confused you and got you to agree to have Kyoko-san attend the training? I have a few of those tricks up my sleeve as well. But that's not what you want, is it? Is it? I stared into Toka's eyes. She was probably angry with me. Indeed.
うるさいよ。何を偉そうに。
That's why I apologized.
もういいバカ。ケイチになんかもう絶対に相談しない。
You've taken your frustration out on me like this before. Remember, back when Kyoko-san had to leave for the training? You said that you would decide things for yourself and live on your own from now on. Come on, you must remember saying that childish stuff.
そうだよ。私は自分で決められるもの。
I see. How promising.
ケイチがこんなに嫌なやつだったなんて。
Are you disappointed because you were relying on me? Don't be silly. A third party such as myself could never hope to understand what you're going through, could they? Do you think that if you look at someone with those puppy dog eyes of yours and ask them what you should do, they'll give you the answer you're looking for? You think everything will work out if you do that?
子供扱いしないで。
Toka stomped back into her room, her shoulders straightened. She slammed the door shut. The sound of that door slamming made my heart ache a little. Man, you're too soft, damn it, Kenichi. Toka had shut herself up in her room.
どうかは
I took the liberty of saying some pretty nasty things to her.
え
Kyoko-san looked at me dubiously. You're the one at fault here, you know?
何が
You're the one responsible for Toka ending up like this.
それは分かっているつもりよ。
Seriously, just how did she end up being so kind?
森田くん、なんだかいつもと様子が違うわね。
Come on, I was just trying to play along with the horror movie vibes. Horror movie vibes. This is not horror movie, this is just depressing, dude. I think Toka is closing herself up in there.
連れてきてちょうだい。遅くなったけど、そろそろ夕飯よ。
I gently shook my head. Toka won't come out. I told you, I said some pretty nasty things to her. She's probably making a Kenichi voodoo doll right about now.
ふざけてないで。
You're the one messing around, Kyoko-san. Hurry up and cook some dinner already. You're supposed to be a mother, right? Your homemade cooking will make Toka come running out of that room of hers. What? Are you going to tell me that sob story about your mother refusing to eat that stew you made again? However, Toka will eat anything you make. That's a fact. Just what is it that you're so afraid of? Kyoko-san took a step back after I finished saying my piece.
私はただ、まずい料理で、トーカをがっかりさせたくなくて。
No, that's just an excuse. But that's the thing. Toka will be happy with it, even if it tastes bad. Why don't you understand that? What the hell is wrong with you? Anyway, just try making something, okay?
明日にしてくれるかしら。
This is kinda similar, I guess, to Sachi, but not really. I wouldn't even say it's similar at all. She's just so weak. She's just so weak. Mana was a critic, dude. Mana would for sure know when Sachi's not doing her best. You just do it. Damn it. Why exactly?
今日はそういう気分になれないのよ。
My next words were tinged with exasperation. That cake of theirs was pretty damn tasty. I'd expect nothing less from a pro, of course.
やめて。
Why don't you stop getting pissed off?
明日必ず作るから。
Let's make it a promise then. If you don't make it, you have to marry Isono.
約束するわ。
How ridiculous. Seriously, don't break that promise. Well, I had managed to work at Kyoko-san until I was satisfied. I treated myself to a boxed lunch as a reward. Yo, I walked right into Toka's room without knocking.
出てけ。
Her voice lacked energy. Have you thought about things any? She sniffled, her mouth curved into a shape of a heh. Have you collected your thoughts any?
うるさい。一人にして。
The fact that she's still talking to us though means she's not really all that angry. Jeez, you don't need to say it like that.
だって、わかんないんだもん。いくら考えても、結局どっちかを選ばなくちゃいけなくて。 でも、それはどっちかのお母さんを悲しませることになっちゃって。
Sorry about that. Too bad. Your two sets of parents just don't get along.
仲良くしてほしいよ。
Well, let's set aside Koki and Sachio for now. I seriously doubt you can mend Kyoko-san's relationship with them in just 2 days.
他人事だと思って。
She glared at me. She was about to cry. It does concern me. I can't pass my exam if you don't hurry up and choose someone.
だから相談に乗ってくれてるの？
Well, sure, but I also want to...
よかった。
Is she even listening to what I was saying? Like, at noon? Oh my god. Huh?
私、健一に嫌われたのかと思った。
She took a step toward me. Hey, wait a minute. Now? I thrust my hand out in front of me. I had to stop her from trying to rely on me. Where'd all that assertiveness from earlier go? I thought you were going to decide on your own, right? She just shrugged. Sheesh, this girl. Kyoko-san's gonna cook something for you tomorrow.
本当に？
So I want you to decide in a snap after you eat dinner, okay?
パーッと？
Exactly. You suck at thinking about complicated stuff, right? So let the heat of the moment sweep you where it may. Go on a journey around the world just for the hell of it. You know, a little something like that.
バカにされてるような気がする。
I'm not making fun of you. You can lead a fulfilling life without having to think about everything.
やだ。
Why?
ちゃんと自分で考えて、自分で選ぶの。
I see. Well, anyway, we're a bit short on time. Only 2 days left.
あさっては、お母さんの誕生日。
Her birthday, huh? Man, Kyoko-san might end up with some pretty painful memories, depending on what you decide. I intentionally said something negative.
じゃあ、明日中に決めなきゃ。
And that could mean that right now, you subconsciously desire to go live with Koki and Sachio.
なんで？
Why? Well, if you wanted to pick Kyoko-san, then would it be easy enough to just leave it for her birthday?
そっか。そうなのかな。
Well, manipulation it is, Kenichi. We're already too deep into this. Man, she's so bad. Who knows? In the end, it comes down to what's in your heart.
わかった。明日で決めるよ。
Okay.
どっちにしても、お母さんの誕生日はちゃんとお祝いしてあげたいから。
Regardless of what happens, and not you want to make her birthday the best ever, eh? Her smile was filled with trepidation, but it was there anyway.
でも、ケンイチ、
What is it?
もし、私が明日になって決められなくても、ケンイチは、助けてくれるよね。あの時みたいに。お母さんが連れてかれた時みたいに、なんだかんだで助けてくれるよね。
Honestly, I was disappointed. I guess it had been impossible after all. It looked like the girl with prohibition of becoming an adult would have to rely on others for her entire life. Kyoko-san depended on Toka, and Toka depended on me. Kyoko-san's parents had probably grown up in troubled households as well. The One family was guilty of a crime that no one could be held responsible for. A crime that would recur endlessly. Toka. I've had a lot of fun freeloading in your house like this. Family is really something wonderful. I found myself wanting to see my dad and my older sister again. They're not here anymore though. I guess you could say that I kind of want to return the favor. I want to try and help you guys out.
それって、助けてくれるってことだよね。
I intend to do what I can.
よかった。安心だよ。
But please, make your own decision tomorrow. Don't rely on me.
頑張ってみるよ。
Good night. I left the room. I nearly ran right into Kyoko-san as I was exiting Toka's room. What are you up to? Don't tell me you were eavesdropping.
たまたま通りかかっただけよ。
Sure. Oh? You don't look so good.
ええ、ちょっと頭が痛くてね。
Must be the summer cold.
心労じゃないかしら。
Oh, must be,
明日料理頑張ってみるから。
Please do.
トウカが食べてくれないわけないわよね。
She'll gobble it down no matter how awful it tastes.
森田くんを信じてやってみるわ。
Don't trust me. Trust Toka. Kyoko-san broke out into a smile.
そうね。トウカのためよね。トウカが向こうに行ってしまう前に、せめて一度くらい手料理をご馳走してあげたいわ。
She hasn't decided that she's going to leave you just yet.
いいえ、なんとなくわかるもの。だって客観的に見たらどう考えたってあっちの親の方がまともでしょ。
That's very true. Don't look at it objectively. You're involved with it.
それにしたって。
Talk about angst.
ごめんなさいね。もともと幸薄そうな顔つきですから。
I took another look at her. She really did seem ill. I think you should get some sleep.
ええ。
She smiled gently. I felt a certain sense of expectation as I watched her walk away. Man, how the hell are things gonna end up? Toka's not gonna come to a decision tomorrow. Well, you're smart enough to figure that out on your own, aren't you? So what the hell do I do? Oh, she'll totally decide on what to do tomorrow. What are you talking about, Kenichi?
お母さん、体調悪いって？
Kyoko-san had come to me complaining about her condition first thing in the morning. Yeah, apparently she's come down with a fever. Toka left her room, the room she had been barricading herself in, out of concern for her mother.
大丈夫なのかな？
I checked up on her a little. I'm sure she'll be fine tomorrow if she gets some rest.
やっぱり疲れてたんだ。私のせいだ。私がおろおろとしていつまでも決めないもんだから。
She hugged herself, trying to quell her trembling. So, you're going to choose Kyoko-san then? That's not exactly right, huh? Toka looked away from me, holding her breath. Finally, though, she gave me a small nod. Did you collect yourself any last night?
あんまり。
I had figured that was the case. At least she's being honest, right?
でもね、夢を見たの。
A dream about Kyoko-san?
お父さんとお母さんとお母さんが3人とも同じ食卓でご飯食べてた。最初はみんなよそよそしかったんだけどね。私が作ったご飯を食べてくれてるうちにだんだん仲良くなっていくの。みんな笑顔でね、楽しかったな。
So, that was Toka's wish, huh? I decided to offer Toka some words of advice. Let me tell you something I heard from Pops a while back. Well, pretty much anyone who's an adult knows this already, but... She looked a bit frightened. The world won't go the way you want it to. It's impossible for everything to work out. It's impossible for everyone to be happy.
わかってるよ。
Do you?
選ばなきゃダメなんでしょ？
You should be thankful that you even get to choose.
そうだよね。お母さんなんて子供の頃はずっと親に決められるだけの道を進むしかなかったんだもんね。
I'd go as far as to commend Kyoko-san and Koki for letting you decide this by yourself. And I'd also go as far as to say that it was irresponsible.
どっちかを選ぶと選ばれなかった方が悲しい目に遭うのは仕方がないことなのかな。
Yeah, usually in real life, most of what happened here would be decided by the parents, right? And the kid would usually just be forced to follow along with it. It feels kind of strange that this time it's the kid that's allowed to choose. Well, then again, nowadays it's not that weird. Or especially I guess since Toka is like what, 18? 18, quote unquote. She should be able to choose for herself which side of the family she wants to live with. Yeah, it's unavoidable. That's just the way those things go. But you know what? Whatever you don't choose will realize this. At least they will if they're an adult.
そっか。しょうがないんだよね。
Yup. You can't make everyone happy. And in turn, people know about that fact. So even if you make someone unhappy by choosing something, it doesn't really, like, it shouldn't affect you too much because, as Kenichi said, if they're an adult, they would definitely be able to rationalize about the options, weigh the options, and see which one is actually positive and negative. And if you choose something that makes someone else unhappy, it probably already, you know, prepare for the worst case scenario, right? Hey, remember what you told me before? You said I seemed like the playboy type.
そういう人って嫌われるよね。
Yep. It's really easy to try and be everyone's friend though, yeah? I stared at Toka.
わかった。ありがとう。
She seemed to have understood something. She took off into her room without another word. Yeah, I was also friends with a lot of people in high school. I decided to not do it anymore though. It's actually really mentally straining. 'Twas morning, and no one was around to enjoy it. Kyoko-san was currently running a fever and trying to sleep it off. Toka had barricaded herself inside her room once more. I guess there ain't gonna be breakfast this morning. The One family's dining table was always perfectly prepared. They had never eaten a home-cooked meal at it. Actually, come to think of it, did they have any silverware? Tomorrow was Kyoko-san's birthday, so I was sure Toka was going to try to cook something. It would be nice of me to prepare everything for her. With that thought in mind, I entered the kitchen. I rummaged around under the sink and inside the cupboards. Kitchen knife, frying pan, chopsticks, cutting board. Looks like they indeed had quite a bit of silverware. Oh hey, that fruit knife was in here too. I guess Kyoko-san had stopped carrying it with her everywhere. Not a bad idea, given that incident earlier. Wait, what was this? I had found a thin metal spatula-like object in one of the drawers. Maybe this was that peel Toka had told me about. The one she wanted to use to bake cakes. I put the peel back in its drawer. Toka! I called out to her from outside the door.
何？ご飯ならいらないよ。
Tomorrow's Kyoko-san's birthday, right? Toka nodded. I'd like for you to cook something for Kyoko-san. Did I say Kyoko's birthday? Kyoko's birthday. No matter who you decide to choose.
それは楽しそうだけど、でもお母さん嫌がると思う。
I'm sure Kyoko-san is willing to allow you into the kitchen for just one day tomorrow.
うん。でも。
I'll ask her too. I'm sure she won't mind. I gave her a thin smile.
そうかな。
She blushed a little. Now, I know you don't want to do anything that Kyoko-san doesn't want you to do, but isn't it okay if she enjoys it in the end?
そうだよね。いつまでもお母さんの顔色を伺っててもダメだよね。
Well, don't get too serious. We're just trying to throw a birthday party, okay? Besides, doesn't cooking for Kyoko-san sound like fun? I tried leading her on a bit.
わかった。お母さんが喜んでくれるなら。
You know, aren't we the same as Hozuki right now? Aren't we manipulating what she's doing? What's the difference between us and Hozuki now, Kenichi?
でも、お母さんに台所に入れてって頼むときは、一緒にお願いしてね。
Isn't it just a different approach, but the method is the same? Yeah. Just leave it to me.
一緒だよ。
It's a promise. She really was trying to rely on me, huh? So anyway, What are you gonna make?
メニュー
Or rather, what are you good at making?
どうしようかな。得意なものっていうのはないんだけど、麺類とかは嫌だな。
And as indecisive as ever. Alright, curry it is.
もっと豪華なものが。
Well, let's assume a worst case scenario. If you can't enter the kitchen, you can make curry down at the riverside, right?
そっか。
So sound good?
でも、カレーか。
Why, you little...
せめてシチューじゃダメ？カレーは寝かさないと美味しくならないし。で、シチューもそういう性格持ってるんだけど、まだマシかなって。
I actually prefer curry. Okay, stew it is. Hell yeah. I slam my fist against my open palm. Let's go shopping for the ingredients tomorrow.
美味しいもの食べさせて、お母さんに元気になってもらおうっと。
Okay then. Now you need to start thinking about that decision of yours, so we can make tomorrow as fun as possible. Toka offered me one of her characteristic sighs as a response, then headed back to her room. The phone started ringing after I finished checking up on Kyoko-san. Toka, it's the phone. Toka rushed to answer the phone.
もしもし、トウカです。
She must have been pretty convinced that it was her parents, answering with her first name like that. Yeah, usually Japanese tend to say, this is the One residence, or whatever their family name is.
お父さん？電話ありがとう。
She still sounded a bit unnatural, but she was clearly starting to get more familiar with them.
そうだね。ちょっと迷ってるかな。あ、そうだ。ケーキ美味しかったよ。すっごくね。私もああいうの作ってみたいな。教えてくれるって？嬉しいよ。お母さんはね、ちょっと今体調を崩したみたいで。そんなに心配ないみたいだよ。最近悩み事が多かったみたいで。そう、ちょっとたまにだけど、お母さんもよくわからなくなっちゃうことあるけど、でも本当は優しくて私のこと考えてくれてるんだよ。だっていつでも一緒にご飯食べてくれたし、私があげたプレゼントとかずっと大事に持っててくれたし。仲直りできるといいね。
Both sides fell silent for a short time.
何？お母さんもよく体調崩すって？大変だね。だってお父さんもお仕事あるでしょ？私がいれば。いや、いいんだよ。もっとそっちの事情知りたいし、ずるいだなんて思ってないよ。私は自分で決められるから。大丈夫。今日中に決めて明日には連絡するから。私だってもう大人だよ。そんな心配しないでよ。
Big talk for someone who said you're a child. There's no talking back out of this one now, Toka. Toka kept up her show of bravado. She was the very picture of a child trying to show off in front of her parents. You overdid it.
どうしよ
Looks like you're just gonna have to decide tonight.
う。でも向こうも思ったより大変そうで。
I see. However, the more you listen to them, the more you'll start feeling sorry for them. It's the same way with Kyoko-san, you know? She has a lot of heavy stuff in her past that she's still dragging along behind her. Toka started pulling it at her hair with both hands. Whoa. Don't go unstable on me.
もうわかんないよ。
Hey.
決められない。
Hey, calm down. I grabbed hold of her. Freaking out isn't going to help.
私には決められないよ。
She was dangerously close to erupting in tears.
全然考えがまとまらないくせに、考えれば考えるほどみんなに悪い気がしてきて。
What is this feel bad for everyone bullshit? That's something I can't understand, Toka. Don't beat yourself up about this. I thought I told you this was unavoidable. She clung firmly to my arm. Okay, I guess... I gotta think about this in a different manner. I gotta admit that the fact that I don't like how Toka's acting right now is because I feel like this sort of attitude is something that I used to have myself. But this was back when I was like, what, 10 years old? I don't look fondly upon how I acted back then. I definitely did not. Like, it just doesn't work, right? How old is she? And she's still acting this way? Yeah, you can argue that she's been prohibited to become an adult, but this is a bit much. She clung firmly to my arm.
決めないと、ケンイチも困るんだよね。
She was staring straight at me.
わかった。もうちょっと考えてみるよ。
I can understand why people would like her. Like, then again, for people that like these type of games, usually the target are males, right? A friend of mine told me this. If you like someone, if you forgive someone for doing something, right? Think about it if they're female or male. If you forgive them based on their actions, if you change their gender, it doesn't matter. You're gonna forgive them no matter what. But if you think about it in a way that maybe if they're male, you won't forgive them, then that means you're a fucking hypocrite. Hypocrite. There you go. Wrong saying. There you go. Like, I don't think I would... Like, this is even more evident that Toka is a girl, and I don't think this is a very good attitude. But I can understand why people fall into the line of, I like this girl, she's so troubled. Because she's a girl, right? What if she's a male? Would you guys ever give her the time of day? Probably not. This is the sort of moe culture that anime is trying to force upon us otakus. And it's pretty evident in every visual novel, really. But that's a topic for another day, I suppose. She slowly let go of my arm and trudged back into her room. Don't go repressing things, okay? I didn't know if those words had managed to reach her or not. Then again, though, I'm kind of being biased. It's probably not just in visual novels or in any anime media. I think it's on everything. On news, everything, right? Everything. Gender definitely affects your perception on things. Kyoko-san decided to leave her room as the sun was beginning to set. It looked pretty bad. Kyoko-san responded moodily.
迷惑かけるわね。こんな時に。
You took that medicine, right? I think you'll be fine as long as you get plenty of rest.
ありがとう。森田くんがいてくれて本当に助かってるわ。
She smiled. It didn't feel like she was trying to force herself to be kind. Maybe the delirium brought on by our fever had caused her true colors to show themselves.
どうかは
She's still agonizing over that decision of
や
hers.
っぱりね。あの子は優しいからきっといつまで経っても決められないんでしょうね。
Our conversation was interrupted by some nasty cuffing on Kyoko-san's part. Are you up for eating something? You can make some oatmeal if you want. She shook her head forcefully.
今日料理作るって約束だったわよね。
Huh? Yeah, you did, but are you really capable of doing it? Kyoko-san crumpled her brow in thought. The atmosphere about her was so severe that it was nearly oppressive.
お母さん、平気なの？
Kyoko must have overheard her conversation. She entered the room, a concerned expression on her face.
どうかこそ大丈夫？無理してない？
I think that's supposed to be leave her room.
無理なことなんて何もないよ。私が一番楽ちんなんだから。
楽ちん。
だってどっちの家に決めたってきっと私は幸せに暮らしていけるから。
A strange sort of expression started to make its way across Kyoko-san's face.
私と一緒にいて幸せ？
うん。いろいろあったけど、いろいろあるからきっと幸せなんだよ。
ありがとう。私なんかに気を使ってくれて。
It's your birthday tomorrow, right, Kyoko-san? If we were going to ask, now is as good as a time as any. We've got to celebrate it, you know. Kyoko told me that she'd make some stew for the occasion. I'm sure that sounds great. So how about letting us use the kitchen? Please. Toka's really looking forward to this. Hey, you need to ask her too, Toka. I tapped her shoulder.
お願い。
Kyoko-san watched us silently.
お願いだよ。美味しく作るから。ね。お母さんに元気になってほしいんだよ。
I examined Kyoko-san's face. Her cheeks were puffed out, just ever so slightly.
森田くんも作詞ね。私が弱っている時に頼み事をするなんて。
Darn, you figured it out.
いいわよ。
本
Kyoko-san faced Toka and nodded.
その代わり気分が悪くなったりしたらすぐに言いなさいね。
Then she turned back to face me.
お願いね。
In other words, she was placing Toka's well-being in my hands.
それじゃあ私はもう少し休むから。
ありがとう、お母さん。私、頑張るね。
I think you need to decide on a little something before you start thinking about that. Kyoko-san smiled in a forlorn sort of way as she watched me poke Toka in the shoulders. And then she vanished from the living room. This is great, huh, Toka? Toka wasn't in a good mood just yet, though.
でも、これで私が向こうを選んだら、明日はちょっと気まずいことにならないかな。
I mean, the reason why Kenichi's doing this is so that you choose Kyoko-san. It's to make you feel awkward. Ah, that too would be unavoidable.
最悪の誕生日になっちゃったりして。はぁ、決めなきゃ。早く。
How about having some dinner?
いらない。部屋でまた考える。
Okay, I'll stop by your room at night. You have until then. She shut the door in my face. She was probably trying to run away. I ate some rations by myself. Oh man, getting some smoke in your lungs really was the best way to calm down. What I needed to be doing right about now was investigating this family even further. Toka had said that she would be happy no matter who she ended up picking. So what kind of people were One Koki and One Sachio anyway? I had sent a report to an acquaintance of mine in the city and had him investigate matters. Everything had checked out as legit, according to him. The court was involved after all. And then there was Kyoko-san. I still couldn't get over my unease regarding Kyoko-san's apparent instability. Well, it's about time. Time for me to check on Toka. I'm coming in. Toka sat on her bed, clutching her knees. She took one look at me, then buried her head in her hands. I took a seat next to her, not saying a word. Have you decided? Of course she hadn't. I had to ask her anyway, though.
ダメ。
She had forgotten to try and sound tough.
どうすればいいのかな。どうすればみんなが悲しまずに済むのかな。私には決められないよ。だってどっちの親も大事なんだから、かけがえのない家族なんだから。なんで私が決めなきゃいけないの。もともとはお母さんとお父さんの問題のはずなのに、どうして私が決めなきゃいけないの。もっとゆっくりさせてほしいよ。私はもっと普通なんだから。ケンイチみたいに頭がいいわけでも、サチみたいに行動力があるわけでもないんだから。
What makes a person normal anyway?
どうしてこんなに目まぐるしいんだろう。お母さんがお母さんじゃなくて、本当のお母さんが出てきて喧嘩してて、息をつく暇もないよ。ただお父さんとお母さんが仲良くしてくれればいいのに、それってそんなに難しいことなのかな。弱いな、子供って。振り回されるばかり。
In our... Well, not in your case, Toka. Well, you did get abused, sure. By your, obligation, but... right now, I doubt this is like being used in any way. She kept clutching at her stomach with one of her hands. Perhaps she felt as if she were about to vomit up all of the frustration she had accumulated.
ケンイチが決めてよ。
I could barely make out what she was saying. Hey,
ケンイチならいいよ。きっとなんとかしてくれる。
Toka, hold on. You can't do this.
だってもう時間ないんだもん。
Toka was acting more childish than ever before. Okay, Toka, listen to me. What? Was she thinking that I had just come up with some amazing idea?
何言って。私何でも言うこと聞くよ。
Is it really okay for me to decide for you? Would you not regret it for the rest of your life if I chose Kyoko-san right here and now? She hesitated for a bit. That was only natural. But eventually, she lifted her head.
決めて。
Her eyes were devoid of emotion.
世の中はたとえどんな社会でも知識と教養があって決断力と行動力があるような頭のいい人たちが支配してるんでしょ。私のような頭の悪い人はずっと利用されて生きるんでしょ。でも気づかなければ幸せだから、そういった頭のいい人たちにいつも責任を取ってもらえればすっごい楽ちんだから。
Why are you accepting that? Holy shit.
それでいいよ。
You're fine with it, but I'm not fine with it. She threw in a sigh for good measure.
私はただみんなが、そして何より私が傷つくのが嫌なだけなんだよ。弱いお子様なんだよ。
She repeated no more until her very voice faded away. I see. She couldn't decide. I apologize for being unable to advise you properly. Toka shook her head. Words would no longer let through to her. She had sunken so far that she was out of reach. I had failed.
そしてその意志が脆弱なものであるというその過程を森田の工学のために見せておこうと思ったのだ。
God damn. Pops had been right after all.
3日以内だ。必ず決めさせろ。人に決断させられない人間は人の上に立てんぞ。
I had to take Toka's place. It was up to me to decide who she would live with. Toka. It was all in my hands. You'd be fucking out of your mind if I choose this. You'd be fucking out of your mind if you think I would choose that one. Toka.
気兼ねしないで言ってみて。決めないとケイイチにまで迷惑かかっちゃうでしょ。
Alright. I resolved to make my decisions known. But as soon as I opened my mouth, I heard a knock at the door.
まだ起きてるの？
We broke away from each other and scrambled off the bed. Toka looked at Kyoko-san, dumbfounded. I probably looked much the same.
部屋を暗くして二人で密談？仲がいいのね。
She laughed elegantly. Has your fever gone down? I couldn't really tell because of how dark it was, but her cheeks seemed just as flushed as they had been earlier.
あ、熱はもう大丈夫よ。森田くんのおかげね。
Was that really true? Her breathing seemed just a tad labored, and her nose seemed to be twitching quite a bit.
約束したでしょ。
I could smell food.
夜食にどうかなと思って。
She presented us with a tray.
食材があまりなかったからお茶漬けね。机の上に置いておくから美味しそうだったら食べてね。
We watched in awe as she strode past us and placed a tray on the desk.
それじゃおやすみなさい。
She had to catch herself there. Had she been holding back a cuff? Kyoko-san turned to exit the room as if nothing had happened. I looked at the bowl sitting on the desk. There wasn't much steam rising out of the soup, and I had to guess as to why. She had probably heard our conversation through the door. And so, the food she had went to so much trouble to make had ended up cooling off. But she had ended up coming into the room anyway. I suppressed my feeling of discomfort.
お母さん待って。
Toka shouted at her mom.
お母さん。私。
Tears were running down Toka's cheeks.
ごめんなさい。私、何も決められなくて、迷惑ばっかりかけて、頭悪くて。
Kyoko-san turned to face Toka.
これは命令よ、トウカ。よく聞いて。
My eyes were drawn to the badge on Toka's chest. Prohibition of becoming an adult was still in full effect.
あちらの親に親権を返します。あなたは大根幸喜と大根幸代の子供になるのよ。
There wasn't a trace of hesitation in her voice. Toka gasped and frantically shook her head.
大好きな料理をしっかり教えてもらいなさい。
Kyoko-san left the room before Toka could respond.
明日の誕生日、期待してていいかしら。
She seemed very refreshed as she walked out of the room. Toka crouched down on the floor and started wailing.
どうしてこんなことに。
Toka. There was nothing left for me to say.
どうしよう。どうしたらいいかな。
Eat your soup. Oh god, Kenichi. It's going to get cold. Hey, what's wrong? Your mom finally cooked something for you. I thought you were looking forward to this. She slowly reached out to the tray, as I had told her to. She gripped her spoon firmly. Perhaps she felt that that food was her only source of solace at the moment.
お母さん。
And then Toka tasted her mother's cooking. Tears streamed down Toka's face as she ate the soup. Eventually, she set the empty bowl down. She had only one thing to say. Delicious. Newly liberated from her worries and unease, Toka collapsed onto her bed and soon fell into a deep slumber. She looked so innocent as she slept, just like a child. In the end, Toka hadn't been able to decide. Kyoko-san had decided for her. One way of looking at it was that Kyoko-san had fulfilled her duty as a parent. My supervision was now over. However, tomorrow was Kyoko-san's birthday. I wanted to celebrate it with Toka. There was still something I needed to do here. Man, that BGM is so good. Really makes me feel something, you know, whenever it comes out.
ほらどうか朝よ
Guess she wants to send her off with a smile, huh? Wakey wakey, eggs and bakey. I accompanied Kyoko-san in her endeavor to wake Toka up first thing in the morning.
お母さん。
Kyoko-san's presence made her feel quite uncomfortable indeed.
ほらほら朝ごはん作ったわよさっさと食べましょうよ
You made breakfast? I grabbed Toka's arm. Come on, let's dig in. We're having some bread, milk, and omelets today. I think the three of us should eat together.
でも
Oh, whatever. You're coming with us. I'd get her out of that room one way or another. I took her hand.
バカ気安く触らないでよしかもお母さんの前で
森田くんが10日をもらってくれるなら私は構わないわよ
No thanks. Kyoko-san grinned.
お母さん健一を調子づかせないでよ
Toka started blushing. Kyoko-san and I were probably thinking along the same lines. Try not to make Toka worry too much. Try not to give Toka an opportunity to worry too much. I squeezed Toka's hand tightly, repressing my sense of embarrassment as I did so. Come on, let's go.
話してもうちょっと顔洗ってくる
She ran out of the room. Kyoko-san and I turned to face each other. Toka ate all of it. I pointed at the bowl that she had left sitting on the desk.
味なんてわからなかったでしょうね
Her tone sounded a bit sarcastic. She ate everything. She didn't know what to do, so she just started crying and ate it all. She said it was delicious. Kyoko-san looked away from me for a moment. I could hear her trying to choke back a tear. Breakfast. Man, it's kind of depressing to think that this will be the last day that I freeload off of you guys.
あらいつでも遊びに来てよ
Oh no, I must decline. Such a tight-knit teacher-student relationship would be quite problematic.
じゃあ磯野くんと遊んでもらおうかしらね
Toka had been in a funk. But that line had made her spit out a chunk of bread.
どうしたの10日行儀悪いわよ
だって磯野なんかと
磯野くんふざけてるけど実は本気だと思うのよね
Yeah, same here.
私は認めないよあんなつまらないやつ
そう楽しい子だと思うけど
ダメあいつはお笑いというものが分かってないよ
What? Are you an expert on comedy now?
何よ私は毎週ラジオ聞いてるんだからね
Very well. Why don't you offer us a demonstration then? She held her breath.
ああ私も聞いておきたいわ
だからほら
Yeah.
メガネを探しててなんかすっごい必死になって探しててメガネってショーが
I'm sorry, I'm not seeing the hilarity here.
だから実はそのメガネがおでこにあったのよ
Oh, so this is based on a true story from your life.
違うってその後デコリンって言うんだから
それ トウカが昔よく言ってたじゃない。
It must be original material then. Also, it doesn't even make sense.
もういい。笑えないのは教養の差があるからだよ。
Toka, is your brain broken?
ほらほら、さっさと食べちゃってね。
お母さん、体調もう大丈夫なの？
She sure looks fine to me.
健一に聞いてないよ。
今朝になったら熱が引いてたわ。森田くんの看病のおかげね。
健一の看病？
夜通し付き添ってくれたのよ。汗を拭いてくれたり、水を飲ませてくれたりね。
ありがとう、健一。
It was nothing.
ごめんね、私自分のことでいっぱいいっぱいになってて、お母さんの面倒見てあげられなくて。
Oh damn, she was starting to get depressed again. Man, you're such a slowpoke. Hurry up and start the preparations for our feast.
今朝ごはん食べ終わったばっかりでしょ？
夕飯の準備でしょ？
そっか。
Let's go shopping. I took her hand once more.
だから触るなっての。
Come on, didn't I tell you already? I think of you as my little sister.
ケーキ買ってきてくれる？
Hmm?
黙ってたけど、実は私も甘いものが好きなのよね。
Like mother, like daughter, huh? Oh yeah, Kyoko-san's parents had forbidden her to eat sweets as well. Toka looked at Kyoko-san bashfully. It may have been just a temporary fix, but at least Toka's mood was under control for now. God, so damn hot. The sun is the worst.
ねえ、健一。
Yeah?
なんで手離すの？
Huh?
うちを出るときは繋いでたのに、どうして今は手離すの？
No reason really. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing and all. She got all sulky again. What's wrong?
いや、健一とももうお別れなのかなって。
Hey, cheer up. It's just your supervision that's over, is all. I'll be in town for a while yet.
でもうちからはいなくなっちゃうんでしょ？
Well, no. I can't keep freeloading off of you guys.
別にいいよ。行くところないんでしょ？
I guess not. You're gonna go to the city, right?
そうだね。もう会えなくなっちゃうんだ。
Well, it's unavoidable after all. Damn. She was worrying about it again. But yeah, about yesterday. I was gonna tell her a stupid joke to lighten the mood, but...
今日はお母さんの誕生日だもんね。
Huh?
自分のことばっかり考えてちゃダメだよね。
She nodded firmly to convince herself of it.
お祝いしてあげなきゃね。
I watched Toka start marching off toward the supermarket and muttered a little something to myself. Man, enduring it like that. She really loved repressing things, didn't she? We finished up our shopping and left the supermarket. Toka tasked me with carrying the bags. God, you bought way too much shit.
白ワイン、バター、小麦粉、全部買ったよね。
No, we most certainly did not.
本格的なのを作るんだよ。
By the way, why do I have to pay for everything?
だってお金持ってるんでしょ？ちょっとくらい役に立ってよ。
Jeez, you'd better cook something damn fine is all I'm gonna say. We headed back home. We encountered Kyoko-san outside of the house. Going out?
ええ、ちょっと学園まで。
お仕事？
夏休みももう終わりだしね。
She nodded slightly.
お母さん、私これから台所で準備始めるけど。
今から？
I could understand her surprise. I mean, it wasn't even noon yet.
練習したいし、キッチンを使ったことないから火加減とかわからないし、いいかな？
ダメとは言えないでしょ。
She really didn't want her going into that kitchen. But why? Make sure you get back here before it's too late now.
ケーキ買ってきたからね。
ええ、ありがとう。
She cast a glance at me.
森田くん、ちょっといいかしら。
Yes? I know. You want me to look out for Toka, right? I whispered to her.
さすがね。任せたわよ。
Is there anything else?
実はね、ほおずき先生に呼ばれたのよ。
What?
例の軽犯罪の件で改めてお話があるって。
He was probably just using that as an excuse to get her out there.
ほおずき先生って何を考えているのか全くわからなくて。
Kyoko-san had been given a talking to by Pops before, hadn't she? She had acted pretty strange after that one. Kyoko-san, I tried to give her some of the security she was searching for. Today's your birthday. Toka is waiting for you with a cake. Just think about that.
わかったわ。
ケンイチ
Toka looked worried. Well, have a safe trip.
どうかも日の元には十分気をつけるのよ。
Kyoko-san and I parted from one another.
いってらっしゃい。楽しみにしててね。
Toka saw Kyoko-san off.
お母さん、台所入るね。で、お母さんいないし。
A stand-up act, maybe.
つい今までの癖で。
Come on, let's get this show on the road. You're making stew, right?
ホワイトシチューだよ。
I don't care what kind of stew it is, just hurry up. I laid the ingredients on the table.
あ、
What is it?
食器とかあるかな。
Yeah, I checked earlier. What is it this time?
私、まだ手洗ってない。
Then wash them. What the hell? You seem kind of on edge, Toka.
武者震いってやつかな。
Okay, I'll hold your hand then.
それじゃあ料理作れないでしょ。
Why, you selfish little...
ぶっかすさ。
You know, this conversation felt fairly nostalgic. Can I watch?
いいけど、どうしたの急に真面目な顔して。
Nothing. I scratched my head. If there's anything I can do to help, just say the word. Toka looked at me a bit dubiously.
じゃあ、とりあえずバターとか冷蔵庫に入れて。
I nodded. Also, please tell me if you start feeling unwell.
なんで？
You've been going on and on about your stomach hurting recently, haven't you?
言ってたっけ？
Just who are you trying to fool?
なんともないよ。さあ、さっさと準備しないと。ケンイチに構ってたら時間がもったいない。
She pumped her arm. Go get him. I could hear the pleasant sound of a knife chopping away at vegetables in the kitchen. Looked like she was having fun.
ああ、ケンイチ、そろそろご飯炊いて。
Alright, want me to wash it?
そうそう、まだ炊飯器のスイッチ押しちゃダメだよ。
I'm supposed to let it soak, aren't I?
それから小麦粉とバター出しておいて。あと牛乳も。ホワイトソース作るから。
I guess she was going to use a roux to make it. I think I'm pronouncing it right, right? Maybe. It had been a long time since I had seen Toka this enthusiastic about something. She really did love cooking, didn't she? She'd probably end up very good at it if she put some effort toward it. So in that sense, you could say that Kyoko-san had made the right decision. What's wrong? Toka was hunched over next to the sink.
なんでもない。ちょっと鍋を取ろうとしたの。
The cabinet under the sink was open. They're in there, aren't they?
いや、棚の中にちょっと珍しいものがあって。
Oh, the spatula?
そう。
Toka suddenly fell silent. What is it? What's wrong?
で、
Yeah.
デコデコデコリー。
Huh? Your one-liner? What?
あんまりウケなかったね。
Man, don't scare me like that. Toka placed the spatula back into the cabinet.
ここからが 気合い入れるところだからね。
Man, she probably... I don't know. I'll take care of that then. Listen up, maggot. Focus on cooking. Don't think about anything. As both of you well know, I'm quite a demon. You know how there are things that are better left unsaid? Well, I'll say them 100% of the time.
はあ?
The truth is forever cruel. That is why it is forever beautiful.
狂ったの?
True love awaits you once you overcome adversity and suffer many tribulations.
気持ち悪いな。タバコの吸いすぎじゃないの?
Can I believe in you? I stared at her. Can I believe in you and Kyoko-san?
なんかよくわかんないけど、私はお母さんもケンイチも信じてるよ。
Excellent. I can end your supervision in peace then.
どういうことなの?
Well, actually, I gulped. Your chest is pretty flat, huh?
なあ?
Woohoo! I managed to say something perverted without stuttering. Man, I've grown up so much.
死んじゃえ! お前なんか駅の改札のあれに挟まれて死んじゃえ!
The sky above was exceedingly clear. Here and there, it was tinged with a certain hue of scarlet. It almost felt like autumn. Damn, that smells great. You gotta love the aroma of boiling stew.
あとはちょこっと弱火で煮込むだけ。
It's done?
お母さんが帰ってきたらサラダ作っておしまいだね。
It'll taste fine, I assume.
ケンイチには教養の差で味がわからないかもね。
Kufufu, went Toka. Well, apparently she was satisfied with how it had turned out. Anyway, you are unusually serious today.
そう?
She tilted her head downwards, embarrassed. It's pretty difficult to make stew out of roux, right?
簡単だけど?
But isn't it tough to cut the potatoes, carrots, and onions all evenly?
別に?
Dude, you didn't even use a measuring cup.
感覚だけど.
I'm starting to look like the stupid one here. Well, whatever. In any case, I guess you're pretty amazing. It had been enough to remind me of Sachi's endeavor just a moment ago. Though Toka had conducted herself with much more composure than Sachi had, she had enjoyed it a lot more too.
これってさ、誕生日プレゼントになるよね。
Yeah, it sure will.
お母さん、喜んでくれるよね。
Most likely. Toka smiled shyly.
楽しみだな。毎日作ってあげたいな。私ね、気づいたの。どうして私が料理したいかって。
Straightforward, clean gaze met my own.
それはね、お母さんに喜んでもらいたいからなんだよ。
I see. But that wish of hers could no longer be fulfilled. Toka would be leaving for the city soon. Are you going to call Koki and Sachio after the birthday party's over? Toka nodded slowly.
仕方がないことなんだよね。でも
Toka found herself unable to complete those words. There was nothing left to do except wait for Kyoko-san to return. Kyoko-san was sure taking her sweet time. I started off in the direction of the school while taking a quick smoke. Oh, I soon saw Kyoko-san. She was hoofing it over here. I was very curious as to what Pops had tried to make her do this time.
ただいま。
She was out of breath. Did you run all the way here?
ええ、待ち遠しくて。
There was a hint of imperfection in that smile of hers. So what was it about?
昔のことをいろいろと聞かれたわ。
Your past.
私の親のこととか、兄弟、それから後期のこととか。
Did you tell him everything?
いつの間にか話させられていた。と言った方がいいわね。
Did you end up remembering some stuff you'd prefer not to? I worded my question carefully.
大丈夫よ。過去にどんなことがあっても、どうかはきっと 私を許してくれるわ。
Her voice was completely steady. There was none of her usual weakness. Of course, her own particular brand of darkness could have merely run far deeper than I could have imagined. And well,
さあ、美味しいシチューが待ってるわ。
for the time being, I was relieved to see Kyoko-san dashing happily into the house. The One family's dining table would finally see proper use.
さあ、食べて食べて。
Steam was rising from the bowls of stew. Bits of carrots and potatoes bobbed among the creamy soup. Makes me want to shed a tear.
そうね。シチューなんて本当に久しぶりだわ。
You guys are making me hungry. Makes you kind of get cold feet about the whole thing, huh?
足というか口ね。食べるのもなんだかもったいないわね。
Sure looks nice though.
ちょっと、二人してごちゃごちゃうるさいよ。
緊張するわ。
Me too, me too.
ついに10日の手料理を。
Me too, me too.
しつこいな。冷めちゃうよ。
Someone's stomach growled.
誰よ。
It was Kyoko-san. Toka grinned, then
お
announced,
誕生日おめでとう。
Itadakimasu. Kyoko-san's eyes were just a little red. She placed her hand to her chest as if to thank God for the food.
ありがとう、どうか。いただきます。
She took her spoon in hand, then scooped up a bit of the stew. Her eyes were on Toka's smiling face all the while, and her arm trembled just a bit.
いい匂いね。本当に。
The spoon forced its way past her lips. Toka's earnest feelings transferred themselves to Kyoko-san through that stew.
どうかな。おいしい？おいしいかな。
なんというか、言葉を失うわね。
Her cheeks were bright
美
red.
味しいわ。もちろんよ。すごいわね。どうか。
Toka was struck dumb by Kyoko-san's praise. Man, a lot of stuff happened to us on the way here, huh? I spoke leisurely while slurping at my stew.
本当に森田君には迷惑をかけたわね。
I mean, I got Kyoko-san charged with a misdemeanor, peeked in on Toka in a bath, and who knows what else. Well, seriously, Toka, a lot happened, right?
うん。今度お風呂に入ってきたらひどい目に遭わせてやるからね。
I really must praise your cooking, though. You never eat something this delicious on the battlefield.
森田君って本当に南方紛争に参加していたの？
Kyoko-san asked me a tricky question while reaching for the salad.
お母さんお母さん、どうせ嘘だよ。
Toka smiled. I saw a lot of pretty gross-looking corpse. There was plenty of rape and torture to go around, too. Oh man, the scent of burning human flesh is so nasty. But I guess now is not really an appropriate time to discuss stuff like that. Why did it have to be now? You said you were cooking nabe, didn't you?
え？
You know, back when Toka got burned.
それがどうしたの？
Kyoko-san seemed to think my sudden shift in attitude was strange. Well, it was, after all. Well, you were asking about my war experience, right? Anyone who participated in the war would know that. I stared straight into Kyoko-san's eyes. Toka's burn is not something that could have been caused by hot water. It's a branding mark. Kyoko-san bolted out of her chair. Her chair slammed into the table, causing a bit of stew to spill out of the bowl.
こんな時に何を言ってるの？
Toka has known the truth, but she's been trying to force herself to forget about it. To force herself to repress it.
だから何が？
Her strange smile convinced me. You're trying to make a cake, right? That's what Toka told me.
違うわ。あの時は鍋をやろうとして急にお湯が吹きこぼれてしまって、それで。
Then just why is there a spatula in this house? I thought you didn't cook. You were, in fact, trying to bake a cake. However, you couldn't do it. At first, I thought that One Koki had given Toka that mark. However, you kept making such a big deal out of the whole thing that I just couldn't shake this funny feeling I had about it. I pointed to the kitchen. You wouldn't allow Toka into the kitchen. The real reasoning behind this is that you did not want Toka to remember that incident, and that you did not want to be forced to remember it yourself. Did you keep that spatula around because you were too afraid to throw it out? Were you afraid that touching it would cause you to remember your own failure? I took a step forward, closing the distance between Kyoko-san and myself. Anyway, I didn't have any hard proof, so I decided to keep quiet about it. After all, some secrets are better off remaining secrets. However, Kyoko-san, now that you've decided to turn Toka over to her real parents, I'm at a loss. Why the hell did you do that? Are you capable of giving up the daughter who loves you so damn much? Have you always been this reasonable? Have you always been this strong? You haven't, have you? No. You're weak to the point of helplessness. Kyoko-san's smile began to dissolve. I'm sure you had Toka's best interest in mind, of course. You wanted her to live with her well-to-do birth parents and learn the art of cooking. I'm sure that was part of it. But more than that, you were scared. You were scared of your daughter realizing the truth. Toka gasped. I spoke. You pressed that burning hot spatula against Toka's arm, didn't you? I wanted her to admit it. I wanted her to admit it so that this family could have a fresh start. After what felt like an eternity, Kyoko-san replied, Kyoko. Her eyes were now completely bloodshot.
そうよ。私がどうかを。
The corner of her mouth kept twitching. A dim light shone in her eyes.
後期の家で虐待はあったけれど、私もあの時一度だけ。
You were the one who received counseling, not Toka, right?
だって私の子供じゃないんだもの。しょうがないでしょ。
It was like we were holding two different conversations. Kyoko-san?
違うのよ。私がされたようにこの子に同じことをしただけよ。この子が私にケーキ作ってなんて言うもんだから。だから私も大月先生もね、さっき私にこう言ったのよ。私は最低の母親だって。ありえない。人間以下だって。どうかを向こうの親に返すのはむしろ当然だって。
I might have made a miscalculation about just how deep-seated her guilt was. A grim specter now hung over the scene. A specter who Toka and myself had not known existed. Perhaps even Kyoko-san had been unaware of its existence. Kyoko-san, calm down. Look into my eyes.
お母さん。
冗談じゃないわ。
What?
私はね、こんな手料理なんて食べさせてもらったことないのよ。
Her words carried all of the power of a curse.
冗談じゃない。こんな幸せ、冗談に決まってるわ。私が料理を作った時、家族のみんなが揃って当てつけのように完食したっていうのに。
She ground her teeth back and forth, producing a queer sound.
美味しそうなシチューじゃない、トーク。よくできたわね。こんなもの誰が食べるって言うの？
The sound of broken glass echoed through the room. Stew flew everywhere, sullying the table. Kyoko-san's arm, and perhaps most importantly, Toka's face.
お母さんにこう言われたのよ。これで私の機嫌でも取ろうって言うの？こんなもので親子になろうって言うのってね。
Kyoko-san, you. No one should ever look at their own child the way Kyoko-san was looking at Toka.
あなたは私の子じゃないの。迷惑なのよ。いつも自分では決められなくて、何をするにも私に聞いてきて。
It was a scene of much carnage. One by one, Kyoko-san threw aside the bowls containing the stew that Toka had worked so hard to create. The heat and aroma of the stew filled the entire room. The pleasant dinner had been transferred into a scene straight out of hell. Kyoko-san's birthday would be forever tainted.
ほら見てごらんなさい。 最低でしょ。最悪の母親でしょ。こんな弱い人間がこの世にいるだなんて信じられる？
Kyoko-san pounded the table ferociously. Her breathing terribly labored.
でもこれが現実よ。あなたみたいな奥様にしっかりと突きつけてあげる。精魂込めて誰かのために頑張った結果が報われないことなんて世の中で当たり前のことなの。現実が残酷だなんて大人なら誰でも知ってるの。
Toka stared at her mother blankly, as if her soul had fled her body. Stricken with regret, I silently offered every apology in the world to Toka.
森田君も頭が良さそうでいて、実は相当なバカね。知った風に私の罪を暴いてしまって。
I should never have said anything.
悪事を問いただして英雄にでもなったつもりなの？
I should never have let them know the truth.
虐待は悪いことだ。虐待をする親なんて信じられない。そうだそうだとみんなが叫ぶ。でもそこには当人にしか理解できない深い闇があるのよ。
Kyoko-san's darkness. A complete stranger like me should have never dared to touch upon that chain of cruelty.
そうか。もう分かったでしょ。私を選んではいけなかったのよ。これで心置きなくこの家を出ていけるわね。大丈夫よ。向こうの両親は優しいから。後期は私と違ってちゃんと更生したみたいだしね。あなたの傷を癒してくれるわ。
I was surprised by the fact that Kyoko-san was smiling. She was reveling in this. So I thought that it was all over. One Kyoko's soul was deeply scarred. Amateurs such as myself had no business trying to peer into that soul.
ほら、行きなさい。大好きな父親と本当のお母さんのところへ。あなたの望んでいたことでしょ？
Yes, that would probably be for the best. Toka needed a mother who was much stronger than this. Mom. Toka spoke up faintly.
おかわりあるから。
Toka began slowly filling a new bowl with stew, as if nothing had happened.
まだまだあるから。
何を言っているの？食べないって言ってるでしょ。
うん。でもお腹空いてるんじゃないかなって。
ふざけないで！分かったでしょ？あなたはここにいてはいけない子なの。
うん。でもお母さんの誕生日だから。
何バカなこと言ってるのよ。
うん。ごめんね。
まさか私を許すっていうの？
許すとかじゃなくて誕生日だから。
憎いでしょ？嘘をつかれてたのよ。もっと怒りなさい。どうして本音を言わないの？
そういうのは嫌だから。
She had said that her stomach hurt.
お母さんは悪くないよ。
She had found a spatula in the kitchen. That had shaken her up a little bit. She had told me a stupid joke, clumsily attempting to cover that up.
いい？私はあなたを傷つけたのよ。子供を守るべき親が逆にやけどを負わせたのよ。
それはきっと私が悪かったんだよ。
本当にバカな子ね。虐待を受けた子供はね、よく全てを自分のせいにするのよ。あなたはその典型。言いたいことも言えずにずっとお腹を痛めてるだけよ。
虐待なんてなかったんだよ。
あったのよ。
Kyoko-san screamed in a shrill voice, then shot her arm out in the direction of the bowl that Toka had presented her with. But
お母さんを信じてる。
it was eyes again. Eyes that stared straight at the person they had deemed necessary. Eyes containing an indestructible trust. Eyes that were so childish that it was nearly frightening.
現実を見なさい。せっかくの死を飛び散らせたのは誰？
お母さん。
目 目の前であなたを今にも殺しそうな顔でわめき散らしているのは誰？
お母さん。
私はあなたの母親なんかじゃないのよ。
お母さんはお母さんだよ。
黙りなさい。もう戻れないのよ。
Stew dripped from her smiling face. Toka did nothing but wipe it off indifferently. I shook my head and spoke. Toka, that's enough.
あなたは私の子じゃないの。
She's already lost it.
私なんか見限ってとっととあっちの家のところへ行きなさい。
There's nothing more you can do for her. Despite having such abuse continually leveled at her, Toka did not shed a single tear.
もういいわ。あなたがどう思おうとね、昨日命令したでしょ。あなたは大根後期の娘になるのよ。
I didn't want to admit it, but that was correct. Orders are absolute. That's enough, Toka. Unexpectedly, Toka seemed to offer her assent rather quickly.
わかったよ。命令なら仕方ないよね。
Toka removed her hand from the ladle.
そう。それでいいのよ。ようやく現実を思い知ったようね。そうやって少しずつ大人になっていきなさい。失望して落胆して。残念だけど、仕方がないっていうことをたくさん経験しなさい。
Would you call this Kyoko-san's last lesson for Toka?
若いうちは何でもできると思うものだけれど、どうにもならないことはどうにもならないのだから。さようなら、Toka。
Mother and daughter stared at one another. I waited for a bit, then tugged on Toka's arm. Let's go, Toka. That's enough. She shook off my hand.
やだ。
What are you talking about? I mean, it's a shame, but we can't disobey her order.
やだって言ってるでしょ。
If you disobey one of her orders, then I have no choice but to send you to a concentration camp.
私はずっとここにいる。
Like I said, Toka smiled.
だって向こうの子供になりなさいって命令されただけだもん。
I swallowed my breath.
ここにいちゃいけないだなんて言われてないよ。
She took a step toward Kyoko-san.
お母さんと暮らしちゃダメだなんて命令された覚えはないよ。
You can't just get off on a stupid technicality like that.
法律上、私は向こうの子供になるけど、私の居場所はここなの。お母さんと一緒に暮らして、そのうちに向こうの家族とも仲良くするの。またみんなで一緒にご飯食べるの。私が作った料理でみんなが喜んでくれるの。
Toka, that's impossible.
じゃあ、改めて命令してあげる。
私はここにいるの！
Toka interrupted Kyoko-san with a shout that came from the bottom of her heart.
そうやって
Her whole body was trembling.
どちらかを選ぶと、選ばれなかったもう一方が悲しむというのなら、世の中がいつもそうやって理不尽な選択を迫ってくるというのなら、仕方がないことだって知った風に大人面するような社会なら。
Toka suddenly reached out.
私は一生子供でいい！
Her powerful voice resounded throughout the room.
決めたの。
She was smiling and crying at the same time. I got a sense of just how deep her resentment was.
お母さんが二人になって何が悪いの？みんなが幸せになることを選んで何がおかしいの？無理なんかじゃない。全然簡単なことだよ。
Sorry. God damn it. Sorry. She took her mother's hand and spoke as if she were explaining something to a child. Kyoko-san sunk to her
お
knees.
母さん、ゆっくりでいいよ。私たちはゆっくりでいいから、きちんと自分のペースで進んでいこう。
そんな。
過去に嫌なことがあって、いろんな人の心が傷ついて、それをいつまでも繰り返すなんて、もうやめよう。お母さんは、そんなに弱い人じゃないよ。
違う。私はダメだ。
だって、私のお母さんなんだよ。一人でずっと私を育ててくれてたんだよ。昨日は頑張って夜食を作ってくれたんだよ。みんなで仲良くしていこうよ。私はみんなの子供なんだよ。だから、そのうちみんなで食卓を囲もうよ。
Her smile was full of affection. Her smile forgave and accepted everything. It wasn't that Toka had been unable to choose which parents to live with. It was that she had chosen not to choose. In all the world, you would never find a kindness greater than this.
どうか。
お母さん。
Kyoko-san began weeping. Tears rolled down her cheeks and fell to the floor, cleansing her of her repressed emotions.
そばにいて。
ここにいるよ。
あなたが必要なの。
ずっとお母さんと一緒に暮らすよ。
After just a short while, they both embraced each other. Not as parent and child, but simply as two people who needed each other. An outsider like me had no business interfering with this. Several hours had passed since then. Cleaning's done with. Kyoko-san was resting in her room. She was both physically and mentally exhausted. Toka had just finished having a conversation with her parents over the phone. She had been able to tell them clearly and promptly what she thought.
お父さんとお母さん、今度こっちに遊びに来るって。
Good for you. Have them teach you how to cook. Toka's voice was filled with glee.
毎日電話するんだ。
Were they happy about this too?
もともとお母さんとは仲良くしたかったみたいだしね。
I see. Then... I was just thinking that this is really the end. Toka had decided to live here. Toka's parental authority would belong to One Koki and Sachio. Only in a legal sense, however. I doubted it would cause many problems in the future.
やっぱり、うちを出てくの？
Yeah. I didn't want to pour any more cold water onto this family than I already had. Toka finally gave in and nodded.
今までどうもありがとうね。ケンイチがいなかったら私、ダメになってたと思う。
Nah. You're the strongest. You won't need me anymore.
じゃあほら、最後に手伝ってよ。
You got it. Toka combed through her hair with a smile. The date hadn't changed yet.
誕生日の続き、しよ。
Saying that, she started walking on her own 2 feet. Toward the kitchen. I'm sorry. You got that right. I shouldn't have opened my big mouth. Things turned out okay because of Toka. I wasn't able to do a thing this time.
しかしお前が罪を暴いたことによって親子の結束が強まったのは事実だ。お前のおかげで大団円ではないか。必要悪だったのだよ、森田。
It's kind of creepy, Pops. None of this matters to you, does it? I took a step toward him. Whether or not Toka chooses Kyoko-san, whether or not Kyoko-san goes insane, they don't matter at all to you, do they?
なぜ怒りを見せるのだ?
Who knows? If you wanted to assign a name to it, I suppose you could call it indignation. Indignation toward the people who exist, in a position above all others, and to manipulate society. Those who make light of the people below them.
Oh, 義憤か.
I looked down at Hozuki's left leg. I mean, I could beat him, right? I no longer needed the guidance of this man. I'd rather be a child for the rest of my life. I wish I had that sort of strength.
ところでこんなサービスを知ってるか?
What?
何らかの事情で親を失っている金持ちを対象とした疑似家族サービス。クライアントの要望に合った偽の親をエージェントが演じて、電話や手紙を使って親睦を深めるのだ。
Fucking asshole. What did you say? He couldn't have.
大根幸喜と大根幸代は果たして本当に大根十日の実の親だったのか気になるところではないか。
I'll kill you. Again. It was just like that time with Mana. He had sprung another one of his damn traps on me. I glared calmly at Hozuki, acting in contrast to my rampant emotions. However, Hozuki muttered something to me. That is not what you call indignation.
豚のひがみというのだ。
The roar of a demon assailed my ears. I couldn't breathe. Daggers of pain tormented my stomach.
そもそもなぜそんな茶番に付き合って高等人の試験が遅延しなければならんのだ。
You were making it up? Well, yeah. Something as stupid as a pseudo family was obviously bullshit.
お前らはそうやってすぐ分かりやすい悪に飛びつく。いつでも誰かに責任を取ってもらおうとする。
No, it's not bullshit. It's a service now in Japan, you know? What is wrong with people, dude? What is wrong with these people?
国が資格がこんな時は親が信頼する友人がこう言ったからすぐ安心し思考を停止する。そのくせ裏切られた時には豚のようにわめき散らす。
In other words, I was still just a pawn in Hozuki's game. I understand. For once, what you're saying has merit. Toka's way of thinking, her acceptance and forgiveness, would eventually drive her up against a wall. Just take a look at revolutionaries who have practiced the doctrine of nonviolence if you need an example of that. That sort of thing just didn't mesh with this society.
お前にはまだまだ教育が必要だな。
Even so,
一度自分を見つめ直してみろ。最低な自分をな。
I love people like Toka and Sachi. I won't lose. I stepped outside and looked at the sky. Clouds drifted here and there. The blue of day had begun to give way to the red of evening. Summer vacation was nearly over. Natsumi's supervision has finally begun. I closed my eyes, thinking back to the events of 7 years ago. I regret whatever I said about Toka. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm... I think I'm gonna end the episode here. I went a bit emotional, I guess you can say. I'm gonna save the game. Man, way to start the day, man. What the hell? Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. See you next time.